You're watching Moments with Jill Walker. Today I'm talking about the subject of prayer, and I've called it Evening, Morning, and Noon. Now some of you would think about eating, right? Think about food. But we're talking about prayer. It says in Psalms chapter 55, verse 17, evening and morning and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. I like that verse. It reminds me of 1 Thessalonians 5:17 that says to pray without ceasing. You know, we can pray without ceasing by disciplining ourselves to pray second prayers throughout the day. I call them even thought prayers, just what enters our mind that we want to talk to God. We do it with people, don't we? How many times a day maybe do you talk to somebody, whether it's an employee you work with, your boss, your loved one? How many times a day do you text somebody that you like to spend time with? How many times do you pick up the phone and call a family member at least once a day? For some of you, maybe longer, your spouse that you're deeply in love with. We make time for a lot of people, but we need to make time for God most of all. Let me read that verse again. Psalms 55:17. Evening and morning and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. 1 Thessalonians 5:17 says to pray without ceasing. Those verses really go together. And it reminds me of the story about Daniel, found in the book of Daniel, named after him. Daniel chapter 6, verse 10. He, meaning Daniel, kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God as he did aforetime. Daniel kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day. That's morning, noon, and night. And gave thanks before his God as he did aforetime. You see, when his enemies tried to stop Daniel from praying, and they wanted to pass a law that a person couldn't pray, and he was standing, I believe the Bible says, in front of his window or somewhere where it was in his home, but people could see through where he was at, and they could tell he was praying. And he was a witness. They knew he believed in God, as so many others around there didn't believe in God or believed in false gods. Does that sound like today? Yeah, it really does. It sounds like today, not just in other countries, but right in the United States of America. Folks, we need to do something to get more people saved and to change the direction our country, the United States of America, is going to. The direction that it's going in. And it begins, and it can only be changed by prayer. As it says in 2 Chronicles 7:14, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and turn from their wicked ways and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and will heal their land. There's hope for our country. There's hope for wherever you live in whatever country you represent, if we would just humble ourselves and pray. It's a good thing to pray. Morning, noon, and night. It's a good thing to pray evening, morning, and noon, as this devotional has been called today. You've been watching Moments with Jill Walker. God bless you today.